Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Gimpy, and I know it's been a little while since you guys have seen one of my videos. I don't know if you guys can hear my voice, but I'm still under the weather. I didn't want to take in waiting longer to get another video up. It's been definitely a long time for me. I try to get up at least 2 or 3 a week for you guys, and I have just been down for about the past week and a half on my butt, not feeling too well. I am doing a little better, so I decided I'd go ahead and jump on it and do a couple of quick cards here in Pendragon, just to take and get a video out for you guys and let you guys see I'm still alive and everything. Couple things, make sure that if you haven't, you're commenting on, primarily just go to the ambush video for the month of January, leave a comment, say hey, everything. So your name will be entered for the giveaway, and I've got some other stuff. I got a couple things lined up for you guys for next month already, so be looking forward to that. And for some reason I keep getting asked where I got my tweezers. All right, these big long tweezers of mine, and they're just a little cheap pair. They I think I got 3 of them off of Amazon for like $8, and they're 12-inch tweezers. I got the bigger ones because, especially for games that I'm playing, like long distance, long lasting ones, kind of like Unconditional Surrender, and others of that nature that take up a lot of board space, it's easier to grab some of the counters when you've got the longer tweezers. So they come in handy. Amazon, just type in tweezers and you'll see them. These are the 12-inch type. I think that's all I gotta touch on with you guys. I do apologize for not having made a video in a while for you guys. I'm sure you guys understand, it's just that time of year, people get sick, so just doing the best we can. Alright, let's take and get cracking back at it here. This is going to be Pendragon Part 2. I gotta say, I still love this game. Part of what was bugging me is that I had just started this right before I got sick, so I couldn't take and actually play it. I was like, oh crap, because I would have loved to have been able to play it, but I probably wouldn't have been playing it anyway. So most of my tables are actually taken up with stuff that I was recording, so I spent a lot of my time on the couch actually playing PUBG, if any of you guys play that stuff. Alright, but one of the things I did want to mention, and I had mentioned I was going to touch on it, was this battle that happened up here. I did do something wrong. I mentioned it in the video, or I noted it on the video, during the escalade step, alright, because there was no escalade step here. I was successful on being able to do that coup de main that raiders can do to skip that step. So it's effectively the defenders get to attack twice, but that first attack can be weaker depending on where it is. And if it's a hill fort or settlement, town, stronghold, there's a lot of different conditions for it. Generally, a hill fort, if the Camelot condition is in effect, or a fort still hit at full power, which is 1, but the rest of them are going to be hitting at a half during that step. So the first step of it, I lost 3 raiders, and the second step I lost 3 raiders because there was 1 intrinsic in the hill fort, which is the dark blue one pieces here. There's 1 intrinsic garrison in there, and then there was 1 militia there as well. So with militia counting as a half, and the garrison would have only counted it as a half, and since raiders are a half, I would have only lost 1 raider for the hill fort and then 1 raider for the militia hitting during that step, which would have left 4, at which point I would have lost 3 of my remaining 4, and then 1 would remain. So I put that raider back there. We're good. We just need to make sure we pay attention to this escalade step, that it's only a half for some of the buildings, and then their intrinsic garrison units, which I was rating it at 1, not at 2, at its holding capacity. So I was right on all those points except for the escalate step. So we're going to take and get cracking here on our next card. And we did see this card in the previous video. Remember that you've got 1 card up that you've got playing, and then 1 that you can see, so you're always 1 card ahead, or you can see 1 card ahead. Card number 46, it's the Douglas River. Right now, the only eligible factions are the Blue Britons and the Green Scotties. Red and my faction, the Saxons, were used last time, so they're ineligible. Now on this one you can see that Fens are not home terrain for Saxons, and then in Fens cavalry is halved for field battle strikes and stuff like that. So it's going to effectively change it. And I think this isn't saying it. I wonder if it's until the next epoch, because this one says until epoch. I wonder if this becomes permanent. I think this is permanent. We'll have to check just to make sure. But blue is definitely going to take this, because it's going to take away an advantage from my my troops, and the fact that these green areas, these darker green Fens, will no longer be considered home territory for me, and I will no longer be able to get that bonus. So they're definitely going to take that. We're going to mark them down for the event. And this is, like I said, one of the things that I like and don't like about the game is that it has a lot of these cards that come up with it. So it makes little addendums and little changes to the game, but that's also a problem in the fact that you got to remember all these little changes, and you'll have a lot of them that tend to happen, especially in between epochs, and then a lot of them will get cleared off during that period of time, and then you got to, you know, flick back and forth. Now there are these counters to keep track of it, so depending on what symbol it is that just shows you, you know, which ones it are. And then the side is really what you need to concern yourself with. There's the gray side and the white side, so the shaded side and the unshaded side, and that's going to correlate to the card itself. As you can see, it's got the white and then the shaded. So depending on what side of this you have up, reminds you of which event was actually chosen. So they're going to choose to make me no longer have that, and I don't really have a good place to kind of keep these cards as a reminder, so I just kind of put them on the board somewhere where I'll remember it, and then I put the marker down on it as well to indicate which side it is. So that's what our blue Britain faction is going to do. They're going to do the event. Now we have the Scotty faction, and we're going to take a look at it, at their little chart. I'm going to grab out of here. Non-player Civitas. There we go, Scotty. Now they can't do the event. All right, there's no Scotty Raiders. They haven't done anything. This is going to be their first turn, and first or second on upcoming card. The upcoming card is Dux Bellorum. It's card number 16, and they are second on this one, and there's a little special annotation for it. But the only problem is that red is first, and red is going to take and absolutely do this event, because this one is going to either weaken or strengthen the Britain combat units. So the Ducks are obviously going to take this. So I'm debating, like, okay, would a Scotty player really pass up a chance to go now and go ahead and get a raid in, or would they pass as this says? Because this says to pass. But I'm going to play it as it's written here, just so you guys can see how it's supposed to go. If I was making a judgment call on it, I would probably have them go at this point, but I'm not an expert on the game. I like the game. I'm not an expert on it yet, on the tactics. So we'll see if the flow chart works better, because they've got their first or second on the upcoming card. They'll pass and gain a resource for doing so. So that's going to bump them up to 7. And I mean, having resources is good for everyone, so it's not really going to hurt them. So that takes care of card 16. We're going to take and flick our guys back around here. Oh, green stays over here. Now I'm back to eligible, but unfortunately this next card is not going to matter for that. Where did I do the card? I set it down somewhere. Oh, it is this one. I flick over our next card. Card number 72. I'll put it up there for you so we can see that the Raider factions, Scotty and Saxon, my factions, are first and second on the next upcoming card. And the event is add 2 prosperity to each of 2 regions with a town. That's good for the Britons. And the other part of it is battle an enemy at one of its strongholds as if coup de main with a roll of 1. Ooh, now that's good. That means that you can avoid that escalade step. So that could be useful as well. We'll take and set that card there. Now, the first faction is the Ducks faction, and they are obviously going to take this. because we look at the event until Epoch, militia on the same side as Ducks pieces are not halved in field battles, and a Briton free marches intercepts if Ducks or battles now. So effectively they get to make the blue pieces stronger, the light blue pieces stronger, and get a free action as well on top of it. So there's absolutely no reason they're not going to take and do that. We'll set this here. Again, we're going to have to take and put a marker on it to signify which one it is. And it's going to be the white one. And I'll tell you what, let me actually pause here real quick, because it's going to take me a sec to figure out which one of the 3 actions, either a battle, intercept, or a march, that the Ducks faction is going to do, and then I will start the video back up. Alright, after doing a little looking on the board and reading over on everything, the options that the Ducks player has at this point is to battle, intercept, or march. They can't battle because there's none of their troops anywhere that are matched up with any raiders, so that doesn't work. And they can't intercept, even though they would like to. They would like to take, for example, these foederati, troops over here. And I know someone said the pronunciations are in the back of the book, but I haven't bothered to look them up yet. They'd like to take them and move them over here to attack my raiders. But to do an intercept, they have to have control of the region, friendly control, which for them could, at this point, prior to fragmentation, be blue or red control. But since I was able to take out the settlement and the pieces in both of these regions, they no longer have control in either one, so an intercept order doesn't work. The only thing that they can do is a march order to bring their troops into these regions to try to retake them. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to do a march, and I'm definitely going to have them take these red foederati troops from here over into here. And yeah, they would go over here too, because they only have to send 1 troop to be able to take me down here. And the reason I'm not putting the gray ones is because the card doesn't say anything about doing any of the feats, the special actions afterwards. It's just saying they can either do a march, intercept, or a battle. So I'm treating it as exactly what the card says and just leaving it at that. So no special action to go with it. So these 2 areas is where they're going to march to. They're just going to take 1 troop here, enough to wipe out my 1 raider there if they get the chance to battle before I can return with that raider and get those resources back. And now here, I'm trying to decide if it's better. We're going to just take and send all the foederati troops, because I don't think they're that concerned on if these guys get wiped out. And they're war bands anyway, which means they're better than the raiders I currently have present. These little counters are just not that effective on these little wooden blocks, because the wooden blocks are a lot smaller than those little counters, so it's kind of hard to keep track of them. But they are also going to bring along 1 of the militia with them to take and try to regain control of this region, because remember, you do not get control over a region until you have a settlement there. There has to be a fort, settlement, town, something there, and numerical superiority in troops to take and control this region. So it's still uncontrolled at this point, but after they remove my raiders, then they'll take and be able to control the region and do something with it. So we'll take and pull this off. That completes their event action. They just did the march, and they've gotten troops into the regions that I have control over at this point. Now, I would like to do something. I was wishing that I was able to act at this point, but I didn't realize the Scotty actually get to act first again over me. The event's done, so they can't do that, unfortunately. And if we remember from our previous look at their thing, depending on what they're going to do is dependent on what the next turn order is. And the next turn order is their first. So they're going to pass again. I'm playing the Scotty like just straight down the line, just how the player aid says to go with it. Like I said, normally if I were like a Scotty player, or if I were playing both factions, I probably wouldn't have passed there, but we're going to pass with them. They're going to take and get another resource. Alright, quick little addendum here for you guys. In my medicinal head cloud phase that I'm in now from this crap that I'm sick with, I forgot I was doing my pieces over here when the Scotty faction passed that I was still eligible to do an action, so I am going to go ahead and do an action at this point, and it's going to be a command of return for my raiders that are out. My original goal was to take and try to get a settlement down over here, but unfortunately I have to have numerical superiority to get a settlement down, and since they were able to get that free march order in earlier, they were able to bring in enough troops that I can no longer do that, and all that's going to happen is my raiders are going to get killed if I don't take and bring them back now. And I want to get at least some resources out of this, because if they kill my raiders, that plunder just goes off the board and I don't get anything for it. So by doing the return action, all of the raiders that I have on the board are taken and removed off here. I take the plunder 1 to 1 and I get bumped up to 9, so I get 3 resources for the 3 plunder that I bring back in, and all the raiders that I have just come back off the board and they get put back into my spot. I'm thinking I might take and try to raid here again to get some more resources, but there's only 1 cavalry there, and I might be able to take that cavalry out if I get a good roll on my raid and try to get a settlement going there. Maybe raid the places next to it just to keep them occupied so they can't come in on top of it. You know, just kind of throw the troops at it. We'll have to see what happens on that. But yeah, as I was editing the video, I saw that I had made that little goof, so I wanted to take and refilm this part real quick. Just had that little addendum. Again, sorry guys, I know I've been under the weather and been lacking on the videos, but I wanted to try to get this one up for you. Maybe I should have waited another day or 2 before I did it, but it's alright, the damage is done now. But we're all set here. I will pick up on the next card here soon, and make sure, like I said at the beginning, that if you're interested and you haven't already, comment on the ambush video for a chance to win. I'll be drawing that probably here in about a week or so, so you guys be on the lookout for that. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.